Hello, I'm Philip Stoughton. I'm here at SMT in Nuremberg, and I'm joined by a distinguished panel to discuss the topic of maintenance. I'll start with introducing the panel with Florian from C-Place, Gerhard is from Multi-Component, and Bob is from SMS. Bob's a contract manufacturer here. Multi-Component supply a large range of equipment, specifically into the German market. And as we know, C-Place provide equipment for pick and place, but on a global basis. Let's start with you, Bob. What's the fundamental issue with maintenance? What can go wrong if you don't look after your kit properly?
Well, I think the fundamental issue is being able to have the time to make the maintenance.
Okay.
In a high-speed contract manufacturer that we are, many times you're wanting to change from one product to another product to satisfy your customer's need for his product, and it's then being able to have the right amount of time and people available to make that maintenance. And that's the pressure, the general pressure that we're under.
Okay, and Florian, from your point of view, how can you deal with that variation in the pressure? Is it a question of better planning? Is it a question of a better structure for maintenance?
It's both actually, and it starts from what we can provide for Bob for his manufacturing environment. What we did, for example, that we have structured our maintenance plan very modular. So this helps the customer in this very flexible environment to grab some module and say, okay, this module takes, we give a certain amount of time and say, okay, now I have half an hour time, so I grab this and this and this and make this. The other thing is that we provide solutions where you do maintenance not on the line, because the line, you want the line running. So what you can put off the line better to maintain. So for example, we have for all feeders, we have a complete feeder software, feeder manager software. We have the inspection and repair tools, but everything can be done offline. So you pull out a feeder, you put him under inspection, you verify it's okay again, and then it goes back into production, which helps keep the line running.
Yeah, and downtime is the big enemy here. We don't want the lines down at all, particularly in a high-cost environment. You have a whole range of equipment to support. How do you tackle the differing maintenance needs of all those different lines?
Well, this is of course a huge challenge for our technical staff, and what we try to do, we have specialists for each of our equipment, and we concentrate our activities on chip mounters and on inspection systems and reflow ovens. So this is a product range which we can handle with the knowledge of our people. And probably we are in a little bit different situation than my colleague, because our customers are mid-range customers. So for them, probably downtime is not really the big problem. For them, the problem is to do at least the maintenance. They don't want to do maintenance. They feel maintenance is not necessary. They run the machine until the machine really crashes, and then they approach us, and then we must be very quick and must be available. And this is one reason why, in addition to the normal maintenance on customer request, we offer also maintenance contracts. Right. So the customer can choose between a maintenance contract, which includes the maintenance, which includes some special discounts for spare parts and all these things, hotline and everything. So that's the way how we can handle it, and this helps us to avoid really a crash at the customer side. So we do maintenance in advance.
Yeah, you don't want to wait till the plane's fallen out of the sky to maintain the engines. I absolutely understand that. What I was interested in from your point of view as well, Gerhard, was does the maintenance question come up in the sales process? And is that led by you guys, or are the customers actually aware of their need for maintenance, and do they ask about it when they're ordering equipment?
Yes, sure. This is in our industry. I think this is the main parameter to do the business. If we would not give our customers a good service, we would have gone from the market. At least when we are competing with the huge names.
Yeah.
And I have to make one thing clear: we are a distributor.
Yeah.
I talked already to the colleagues. People very often think distributor is just selling the product and then they forget it. This is not our strategy. There may be different distributors in the market, but technical service and maintenance is a very strong point in our whole philosophy. and that's the reason why we have survived in this market for almost 30 years.
Yeah, well, it has to be. And what I was going to say is those companies, those distributors that don't care about maintenance don't generally survive very long. From your point of view, Bob, when you're looking at a maintenance strategy and you're working that out with perhaps one of your suppliers, what are you looking for them to provide you with? Do you want training so you can do it? Do you want their people on site? Do you want that kind of 24-hour, it's crashed, we need to get it fixed hotline?
I think
all of it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a mixture of all of those things. I mean, to take up the point that we're just discussing here, it's as critical when we go out to buy a piece of equipment that we've got the best piece of equipment or a piece of equipment that's fit for purpose, but we also want a distributor who's fit for purpose, a distributor who can provide us with parts when we want the parts, who can provide us with service and support when we need that, but also to help us through telephone sales. I mean, sometimes we're going to be operating for our customers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And a lot of the really good distributors and really good machine manufacturers will support us through that time span as well. So there are many facets to why we would buy a piece of equipment, and what our colleagues are talking about here will add to that whole buying scenario.
A key part of that
strategy.
strategy.
Absolutely.
And Florian, from your point of view, you're going through a kind of a market education process with maintenance at the moment, telling the market kind of some of the solutions that you've got. How's that playing with people? What are people's responses like to your kind of providing them with actually a brochure on maintenance?
Yeah, actually how we try to tackle it is that we coming from the general maintenance process, not speaking about our equipment first, speaking about what we can do in maintenance. And if you look in the brochure, what we're doing is a little bit use cases, I would call it, saying, okay, if you turn a little bit on this screw, you can have a certain effect, which is scrap rate down, which is a downtime less, which might be some errors or some components losses less. And this is for me the point to start with the customer, because customer at the end is interested to maximum outputs. 0 DPM rate would be their dream, definitely. And I think what's the challenge for us, and I think we have tackled it with a modular system, is in reality every customer is a little bit different. So for us it's important to have not one solution, to have a set of solutions, and let's the customer choose. And that's why for us it's important to start with the story. Understanding the story, and then show the portfolio and say, okay, you can pick this, you can pick this, and this is the effect behind this.
And from your point of view, a suite of solutions, a suite of products to offer, and a huge variation in what customers expect is the ideal solution, that they put a good maintenance contract in place at the very start when they buy the equipment. Does that offer you the most comfort with the customer?
Yeah, I think the first thing we do, we try to train the customer that he is able to do at least some basic things by himself. So we spend maybe more time after installation of the machine to educate the customer's operator to do many things by themselves. And if this knowledge is then limited, then it's our turn to approach. And so we are preparing also the things like the big companies. We must also offer 24 hours service or service hotline. So this is a part of each individual contract, and as he was saying, the customer chooses what he wants to have. He can choose a maintenance contract, he can choose just a hotline, he can choose to call for the service guy if the catastrophic event has happened. So customer actually basically decides.
And Bob, the impact of just waiting for the catastrophe to happen is really the wrong way to go, isn't it? This is all about planning, surely.
It's preventative maintenance. It's making sure that even though you're in a very busy schedule, and even though you're producing to a customer who's demanding from you, you have to factor in maintenance. It is absolutely critical. Not just the maintenance on the equipment, but making sure that critical spare parts are in place, either in place on your site or a rapid response from the distributor that you've selected or the machine supplier that you've selected, so they can get them to you, so the downtime is absolutely minimised. But I totally agree. Maintenance, maintenance, maintenance. And that all equates to uptime, and that's very important.
So in our case, for the medium-sized customers, it's not always so easy to convince the customer. Because on the other side there are also some competitors in the market who say, oh, these guys, they offer you a maintenance contract, we don't need this, our machine is so reliable. So we are all engineers, and we know that this is absolutely nonsense. And at the end, the customer really understand the situation.
Yeah, and if they don't, they learn very, very quickly, and that's the way it is. So it's all about planning. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining me. Thanks for your time, and enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you.